As tensions rise even higher in Eastern Europe, Ukraine is mobilizing its National Guard in response to Russian threats. And we have breaking news from the Madison Metropolitan School District officials about school mask mandates. This is News 3 Now at noon. And we begin at noon with that breaking news. The Madison Metropolitan School District announced masks will continue to be worn indoors at schools through spring break. Officials plan to update their decision on indoor masking no later than April 15th. Beginning March 1st, however, masks will no longer be mandatory while outdoors for all grade levels. School officials and MSCR participants and officials will also not be required to wear masks while performing or competing indoors. However, spectators and coaches are required to continue wearing masks. Well, the drumbeat of war is getting louder in Europe with Russian forces poised to launch an all-out offensive on Ukraine. Deborah Alfarone has the latest.
Ukraine announced a state of emergency and is mobilizing its National Guard in response to the threat from Russia.
Plan A is to utilize every tool of diplomacy to deter Russia and prevent further escalation. And if that fails, Plan B is to fight for every inch of our land and every city and every village.
The U.S. says Russia continues to send forces into rebel-held areas of eastern Ukraine, and satellite images show the Russian buildup along Ukraine's borders growing, including field hospitals being set up.
Russia's moved supplies of blood and medical equipment into position on their border. You don't need blood unless you plan on starting a war.
President Biden announced the first set of sanctions against Russia, targeting 2 large Russian banks with ties to the military and cutting the country off from Western financing.
These have been closely coordinated with our allies and partners and will continue to escalate sanctions if Russia escalates.
President Biden warned that the sanctions against Russia will have an impact on Americans, especially at the gas pump.
As we do this, I'm going to take robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions is targeted at the Russian economy, not ours.
Fuel prices are already on the rise, reaching 7-year highs. Russia accounts for about 12% of the global supply of oil and 17% of natural gas supplies. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
And rising oil prices could actually help Russia and nullify the impact of some of the new sanctions. Let's head to the Weather Center now. Julian Seawright has a look at your certified most accurate forecast. A cold start to the day.
A cold start, but at least it's beautiful, Mark. We are looking at beautiful blue skies as we're getting our afternoon started for us. And just some clouds are starting to build in as we go in throughout the rest of our afternoon. But as of right now, as we mentioned, it is cold. Here's a look at our current conditions. 16 degrees and it feels like 3 with those northerly winds at 12 miles per hour. Wind chills are definitely into the single digits throughout much of southern Wisconsin. All of us are holding into the teens, however. 18 degrees in Janesville with 15 degrees in Platteville. It's quite a chilly one as we're rolling into the middle part of our week, but wind chills, once again, pretty much all of us are into the single digits. Bosque Bell's at 10 degrees is what it feels like, so make sure that you are bundling up as you continue throughout the rest of your day. Wind speeds are mainly just on the breezier side around Madison and Monroe and Janesville. However, areas to the west, not too much in terms of the double digits, but still, it's just cold enough or just fast enough to really make it feel like it is cold. Now, for our temperatures over the next 12 hours, just know we're not going to be seeing much improvements. As we get into those lower 20s, it's going to be brief that we're into the lower 20s. Then the teens are really just going to dominate throughout the rest of today, especially as we transition into tonight. However, aside from the cold, well, we got an alert day in the forecast for Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. We're going to talk all things snow and what to expect and the timing of this coming up in a few moments. Until then, let's talk to you. Toss it back to you, Mark.
All right, Julian, thank you. We'll see you in a few minutes. Governor Tony Evers was in Beloit today to award the city $9 million for the Neighborhood Investment Fund Grant Program. The money would be used for the development of a new social innovation center at Beloit College. Evers said it would also help bolster collaboration between the city, the college, and several other community organizations, including the Boys and Girls Club and the NAACP.
So that's exactly what this grant program was designed to do, because we don't want to just rebound and recover. If we want to see Wisconsin's families, communities, and economies succeed for years to come, then we need to make those investments today to build long-term sustainable growth for tomorrow.
College officials say they're excited to start the project and to build new connections with the community. The CDC is updating their COVID-19 vaccine guidance. It now says the interval between first and second doses of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines may be as long as 8 weeks for some people. The CDC says extending the interval may reduce the risk of a type of heart inflammation in males 12 to 39 years old. Shorter intervals are still recommended for people who are moderately or severely immunocompromised. Meanwhile, health officials say people who tested positive for COVID face a higher risk of heart problems months after recovering. Researchers from the Nature Medicine journal say those who had COVID reported more maladies, including strokes, clotting, and heart attacks. A group of truckers from the Northeast are on their way to Washington, D.C. to shut down the Capitol Beltway this week. The convoy left Scranton, Pennsylvania earlier this morning. They plan to stop in Harrisburg and Baltimore. The group is protesting COVID-19 restrictions, including mask and vaccine mandates. Convoy leader Bob Bullis says the protest is about sending a message to the Biden administration.
It's killed our economy. People are losing their homes. You can't operate your transportation companies, the trucking companies. Just look at the high cost of fuel, and it's only the tip of the iceberg.
It's unclear how long the protests could last. D.C. police are prepared. Hundreds of civil disturbance unit officers are at the ready. U.S. ports are getting a financial push from the White House. It's a $450 million grant program aimed toward improving the nation's supply chain. The funds will be used to support projects that expand capacity and improve resilience for imports and exports. The plan is to get products from ships to shelves quicker, which will also lower prices for consumers. Grants are expected to be awarded later this year. Construction jobs are going to be booming this year. The Associated Builders and Contractors estimate 650,000 workers will be needed to meet demand, a 51% increase over last year. These jobs pay an average of nearly $34 an hour, but they're not easy to fill because there are more regulations and less worker freedom. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon.
Consumers fork over billions to fraud schemes, and Hershey offers a sweet way to celebrate Women's History Month. I'm Diane King-Hall at the CBS Broadcast Center. I'll have those stories and more in your CBS Money Watch report.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
The Big Share, an online day of giving, is March 1st. Advance social and environmental justice by supporting the 70 nonprofit members of Community Shares of Wisconsin. Even a $5 donation can make change happen. Donate now through March 1st at thebigshare.org.
Important healthcare announcement. If people tell you your TV is too loud, or if listening in some environments has become difficult, we are requesting your participation in a special program called the 30-Day Challenge. Hearing Life Hearing Centers are seeking people with hearing difficulties to evaluate a new digital mini hearing aid now being released. To take part in this event, you must call. Please get a pencil and write down the number below. All people with hearing aids or hearing difficulties are wanted to take part in the 30-Day Challenge, evaluating a new high-tech device that sits discreetly behind your ear. This hearing aid is Bluetooth enabled and is rechargeable. All hearing assessments are performed at no charge for those taking part in the challenge. Participants will try these hearing aids for 30 days. Call the number below and take the Hearing Life 30-Day Challenge.
From working out to catching up, and of course, game night, your home is the groundwork for all of life's awesome moments. This is Tom Coyle. My family and I say thank you. We're proud to have been a part of this community for 77 years. And during our 77th anniversary event, carpet installation is just $77. Coyle Carpet One Floor & Home. Beautiful, made affordable. Locally owned and operated since 1945.
Save on your fave at the Century House. Right now, get $200 off stressless signature base recliners, classic base recliners with power, and new stressless cross base recliners. Or get a free accessory with purchase. It's time for stressless. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
I'm on Express is the only place where you can count on same-day service. Thanks to our local labs, shop our huge selection and get quality glasses at a price you'll love. And see better today. Right glasses, right price, right now.
The Big Share in Online Dave Giving is March 1st. Your support helps the 70 nonprofit members of Community Shares of Wisconsin advance social and environmental justice and make change happen. Donate now through March 1st at thebigshare.org.
After falling into correction territory, Wall Street rebounded in early trade as investors continued to monitor the Russian-Ukraine crisis. Yesterday, President Biden announced a round of economic sanctions against Russia. $5.8 billion. That's how much consumers lost to fraud last year, according to the Federal Trade Commission. That marks a record and is up 70% from 2020. The average person lost $500. Among the leading scams, fraudsters stealing data to file fake unemployment claims and peddling phony products like hand sanitizer and masks. More companies are boosting benefits to try to keep workers from defecting. According to a recent Harris poll, 51% of employees say their employers increased or added new benefits amid the Great Resignation. Among those added over the last 6 months are improved dental and vision benefits, a health and wellness stipend, permanent remote work, and unlimited days off. And a sweet way to celebrate women across the nation. Hershey's is highlighting the she at the center of its iconic logo to mark Women's History Month in March. Executives say these Celebrate She bars are an important reminder of the role that women and girls play in our everyday lives. You can find the limited edition bars at stores nationwide. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Diane King Hall.
Thank you, Diane. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrial's up 37, the NASDAQ down 43, but the S&P 500 up 3. Well, what goes up keeps going up. Rents continue to rise across the country, and that's forcing tenants to make difficult choices. Elise Preston reports.
Like, to me, it just really feels like I'm being forced out of my home.
Crystal Guerra is packing up and moving from her Miami apartment after the landlord raised her rent $400.
They told me, I think a couple days before the lease was due to be renewed, we want you to pay $19.50 a month.
According to Realtor.com, nationwide rent prices are up nearly 20% compared to last year. The Miami area saw the biggest jump. Rates increased more than 52%.
We've never seen anything quite like this in the rental market before.
Realtor.com chief economist Danielle Hale says a big reason why demand is outpacing supply.
We see that there's low vacancy. And so that means it's renters that are competing for units and not landlords competing to have renters fill their units.
And the increases are expected to continue. A survey shows 61% of landlords are planning rent hikes on at least one of their properties this year.
Experts do believe prices will start to stabilize in the coming months.
We do expect these pace of growth to slow down, but that means rents will still be at a pretty high level and growing just at a closer to normal pace of growth.
I couldn't really find anything within my budget.
Crystal couldn't find an affordable place, so she's moving in with her boyfriend, something the couple wasn't planning to do this soon.
We're excited to kind of test that and see how it's going, but also it's one of those things where we recognize that it wasn't the way we wanted to do it.
And many renters are facing difficult choices as the cost of living continues to increase. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Well, still to come on News 3 Now at noon, the latest farm numbers from the Midwest Farm Report, and a string of thefts have beekeepers buzzing, plus another winter system heading our way tomorrow. Julian has the complete forecast coming up.
If you stutter on the phone, speech-to-speech is for you.
Hi, Nihada. This is Andy Smith, and I was calling to see if our home loan has been approved.
A specially trained operator revoices a conversation to the person on the other end of the line.
Hi, Nihada. This is Andy Smith, and I was calling to see if our home loan has been approved.
Oh, Andy, we have great news. You've been approved for the full amount.
To learn more about speech-to-speech relay service, go to wisconsinrelay.com.
Guys, do you suffer from erectile dysfunction? Now there's great news. Peak Performance for Men will help you regain your performance and confidence naturally. Peak Performance for Men uses an advanced form of acoustic wave therapy, clinically shown to open up and regrow blood vessels, restoring normal and natural functionability where it counts most. There are no needles, no surgery, and best of all, no pain. Call now and receive an ultrasound, your initial consultation, all for free, and over $300 value. Call Peak Performance for Men today.
At McGann Furniture in Baraboo, we know that hardworking people want the most value for their money. When you shop at McGann, we've already sorted out and selected the brands that we feel offer you the most bang for your buck. From young couples just starting out to senior citizens, we offer a huge selection at prices that will fit your budget. Plus, most purchases include free delivery and setup. And remember, at McGann, we don't raise our prices only to lower them later for a sale. Discover the difference at McGann Furniture in downtown Baraboo.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family. Do good things in the community. Help out your neighbors. You've been there for so many others. Now, we're here for you. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. Apply now for a hand up.
Is your home security system as secure as you think? We've got a heads up on some brands that are vulnerable to hackers and what you need to do if you have one.
And snow is on the way for your Thursday afternoon. I'm timing things out tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 7.
Imagine a doctor that comes to you. It's happening right here in Dane County.
We can do healthcare better for less.
Susan Simon shows you how it works and what patients think of these modern-day house calls. Thursday on News 3 Now at 6. The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
And Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report is moderating a forum in Appleton today. She'll be back tomorrow. So here are your farm members. We'll be back tomorrow. Beekeepers across the country are buzzing about the theft of bee colonies. Authorities say in the last few weeks, more than 1,000 beehives worth hundreds of thousands of dollars have been stolen from orchards statewide. The theft is a unique crime statewide in California. The theft is a unique crime that occurs in California this time of year when almond trees start to bloom. Beekeepers from across the country bring billions of honeybees to California to rent them to growers who use them to pollinate their crops. Experts say the demand, coupled with a weakened bee supply and soaring costs to rent a hive for pollination, makes it a competitive industry. Brittany Goodrich is the professor of the University of California, Davis, says this is not a crime of opportunity.
It has to definitely be another commercial beekeeper or someone with a forklift, someone with, a bee suit or knowledge of when and how to move bees.
In California, theft of any agricultural product with $250 is considered a felony. The almond industry is now growing self-compatible almond varieties that will require fewer honeybees for pollination. A winter storm stretching across the country has airlines scratching flights. More than 1,000 U.S. flights were canceled today, and more than 500 flights have already been canceled for tomorrow. Aviation tracking website FlightAware says American Airlines is taking the biggest hit. We could see some more snow tomorrow afternoon. Here's Julian with your complete forecast. That could affect air traffic here.
Well, it could affect it just a bit, especially as we get into Thursday afternoon and Thursday nights. That's why we have the alert day in effect. It's going to be looking for occasional snow to be likely for us, and those snow accumulations over the time period is going to be around 2 to 4 inches to be expected for us. So this is what we're going to be seeing. Throughout today, just know it's going to be pretty quiet and it will be cold. Clouded conditions will start to build more as we get into the rest of our afternoon, especially around the 5 p.m. commute. So just expect more clouds, but it's still going to be on the quiet side. Winds won't be too strong either, but temperatures are going to feel pretty cold. As we go into tonight, we will start to see those temperatures still stay steady into the teens. However, some areas will be into the single digits, especially into the northwestern areas. As we get into our Thursday afternoon, that's when we're going to start to see some activity rolling in. But it's going to be after lunchtime. As we get into the late part of our afternoon, we're still going to start to see just some cloudy conditions for us, but around the 5 p.m. commute, that's when you can expect to see some snow starting to roll in, especially just south of Dane County and going into the rest of the day. We're going to start to see it start to be more organized and much more widespread. As you can see, coming in from the west and spreading itself across southern Wisconsin. Temperatures, again, are going to stay well below freezing, and we're going to hold into those lower 20s and into those upper teens. But we are going to be seeing that snow still stick around for us throughout much of today, or throughout our Thursday nights. Going into our Friday morning, we could still see some light flurries tapering off into the later part of our Friday morning, but then as we get into the rest of our Friday, well, we're looking for clear conditions for us. But again, we are looking for about 2 to 4 inches for pretty much all of southern Wisconsin. Some areas could be seeing 1 to 2, 1 to 3, but for the most part, we're not looking at this to be a significant event in any shape or form. If anything, we're going to call this a healthy amount of snow since we've been lacking in that throughout much of this winter. Now, taking a look at Thursday's system, just know we are going to be looking at some impacts just going into the late part of our Thursday afternoon and Thursday evenings. You're going to be commuting. Just make sure that you are taking it slow and just take it being cautious throughout much of our Thursday. But until then, we're also going to be looking at today's. Our current conditions as of right now, 16 degrees here in Madison. It feels like it is 3 degrees, however, with those northerly winds at 12 miles per hour. Clouds are starting to roll their way in, but still looking at a sky to be dominated much by the sunlight this afternoon so far. Teens are what we're seeing throughout much of southern Wisconsin, with 18 degrees in Janesville, 16 degrees in Platteville, and 17 degrees for our friends in Boscobel. As we go on throughout the rest of today, just know temperatures are going to be pretty steady into those teens and into the lower 20s very briefly before we get to those teens once again going into tonight. Our 3 things we'll need to know from this forecast is that we're going to be seeing cold temperatures until we get into about the weekend, and then the snow accumulation is going to be mainly for our Thursday nights, but we are looking at milder temperatures as we get into next week, and that's what we're going to see from the 10-day forecast. As we can see, temperatures are going to be on the colder side. This weekend's not going to be too bad. The next week, upper 30s and the lower 40s. Gotta love that, and those are consistent 40s in our forecast as we are welcoming in March. But until then, we got to get out of this cold, got to get some more snow rolling in for us, but then, hey, March, gotta love 40s.
Yeah, well, if you enjoy the snow, you better enjoy it quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to last too long.
All right, Julian, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you have a few people at home who are hesitant about eating their veggies, what we're making today might be just what you need. And as for veggie lovers, they're going to love it too.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Stretch your dollar with 11% off everything at Menards. Update and beautify your living space with high quality and unique sliding barn doors from Colonial Elegance. Give your home a rustic look with new doors for any room in the house. With over 20 styles, you can add personality to match your unique decor. Get 11% off all Colonial Elegance doors. Get 11% off everything at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Do you suffer from chronic or severe back or neck pain? Did you know that there is now a treatment method available right here at Midwest Spine and Nerve Center that offers hope of avoiding spinal surgery for those suffering with bulging, herniated, or degenerative discs? Our therapies help reduce pain related to these conditions and have a high success rate in helping people just like you avoid back or neck surgery.
All
I've experienced low back pain for over 15 years. I had back surgery when I was 26 and had difficulties recovering. The doctors at Midwest Spine and Nerve Center have given me a new lease on life. I am now able to enjoy an active, pain-free lifestyle.
Call Midwest Spine and Nerve Center now to schedule a no-obligation consultation to see if our progressive pain-relieving therapies are right for you.
Memories matter. This bend on Cox Hollow Lake was one of Dad's favorite fishing holes. Crest Funeral and Cremation Service helped us make sure he's never forgotten. Making it personal. It's how you heal. We are Crest. We truly believe your memories matter.
No matter what's going on outside, we all want to be warm and cozy inside, especially this winter. We're USA Insulation, and we fix cold homes. When you have inferior insulation, it doesn't matter how much you crank up your furnace. Your expensive warm air still leaks out of your walls and attic. When we inject our premium foam into your walls, it's like wrapping a coat around your entire home. And just wait until you see how much money that saves you. So stop freezing and start saving.
USA Insulation. Just because we're smack dab in the middle of winter doesn't mean we only have to eat soups and stews. So in order to bring you a taste of summer, I thought it'd be fun if I'd share one of my favorite go with anything salads that always earns rave reviews. So if you're ready, I say we get going. The first thing we want to do is combine some mayo, sour cream, and a bit of sugar. After giving this a quick mix, we set it aside. Next, we cut some broccoli and cauliflower into florets. The key here is to make them all uniform in size. To this, we add some chopped red onion, a bunch of shredded cheddar cheese, and some crumbled bacon. Now, all that's left to do is toss our dressing with this and pop it in the fridge. And whether you serve this with your favorite sandwich or as a side dish with Mom's meatloaf, you can't miss. You could even add some raisins or pine nuts if you'd like. To get the recipe for what we call our best broccoli salad, so you can add it to your lineup, simply visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with Kelly, where today we found a fresh change of pace way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, guys, thank you. Here's Julia now. One final check your forecast.
And just a final recap. This is what we're going to be seeing as we get into our Thursday afternoon and Thursday night. The alert day is in effect for that timeline specifically. We're looking for some snow, and the snow events will be accumulating about 2 to 4 inches. This is what we're going to be expecting. So just know much of our Thursday will be fine until we get into about the 5 p.m. commute. That's when we're going to start to see that system start to roll its way in, especially being widespread and pretty organized throughout much of our Thursday evening into our Thursday night. Starting to taper off a bit as we approach Friday morning. As cold temperatures are left behind, we are still going to be seeing some potentials of light flurries, but it's all going to be said and done as we get into our Friday morning. Now for our snow totals again, we're looking just for 2 to 4 inches. Nothing overly significant, but still enough and a healthy amount for us since we've seen little to no snow this entire winter. So our 3 things we'll need to know is that it's going to be cold for the next few days until we get into the weekend. Then as we see that snow accumulating for Thursday afternoon and Thursday nights, we are also looking for a mild warm-up heading into next week. And that's what we're going to see from our 10-day forecast, because we are seeing some consistencies of 40s in our forecast as we welcome in March. But that's going to be great for us. Thank you all for joining us here at noon. We'll have more for you today at 4.